Everybody knows that AI has been the hottest sector of the past 2 years, and no company has shown this more over the past year than Palantir Technologies, rising over 400% in the past year alone. But this leaves the question of what stock can be the next Palantir Technologies. So in today's video, I will be looking at BigBear AI, which has been gaining a lot of comparisons to Palantir recently. And I will try to answer the question of, could BigBear AI become the next Palantir Technologies? Now we've got a lot to get through in this video, so I will try to keep this intro short, but if you find any value in this, can I ask you to smash the like button? It takes a lot of time to make these videos, but it literally takes 2 seconds and costs nothing to smash the like button, and it helps the channel out so much. I'm aiming to get 500 likes on this video. Help me hit that goal. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new content like this. I want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice, so always do your own due diligence. Now let's get into it. Now, first of all, what is BigBear AI? BigBear is a leading provider of AI-powered decision intelligence solutions. Customers and partners rely on BigBear AI's artificial intelligence and predictive analytic capabilities in highly complex, distributed, mission-based operating environments. BigBear provides decision intelligence solutions for supply chain and logistics, enterprise operations, autonomous systems, cybersecurity, and partner with customers to design and implement solutions tailored to their needs. BigBear has been providing AI solutions within the defense and intelligence market for many years and have a growing presence in the commercial sector. And their customers include government and defense, manufacturing and warehouse operations, and healthcare and life sciences. But BigBear has been getting a lot of attention lately as they have been winning major contracts. BigBear demonstrates AI-driven forecasting analysis at Project Convergence. They also confirmed multiple deployments of its biometric software and a strategic partnership in the United Arab Emirates for the deployment of innovative AI-enabled solutions that support digital transformation. But BigBear have plenty of positive catalysts to come because they recently confirmed the company's backlog increased from $168 million at the end of 2023 to $385 million by March 25. And they have secured multiple major government contracts. Another major catalyst is that BigBear are set to report their latest earnings report in the next few weeks, which should be August 7th, which hopefully can show much improved revenue growth. Now, this is not the first time I've covered this stock. When I first covered the stock in January, it was just before it ran to its 52-week high, and again in March at less than $3. But looking at the charts, we can see the stock has dropped over 9% today, and it looks like it could drop a little bit further next week. But there are indications that we may have a quick reversal, so this here remains a key opportunity level. So this is a very interesting article. Is BigBear AI your ticket to becoming a millionaire? Well, over the past 12 months, BigBear AI stock has tripled. Now, obviously, AI stocks in general have been going insane, but there are both good and bad points when it comes to BigBear. For example, BigBear have a new CEO, a healthy backlog, and recent defense wins, so the company does have potential, but it still needs to prove that it can execute. Although it's expanding massively, its gross margins are relatively slim compared to those of most software companies. First of all, what is driving BigBear higher in the first place? A sizable chunk of the company's revenue comes from government contracts, which we already know, although its customers also include manufacturers, healthcare providers, and life science companies, but their revenues and margins so far don't seem to justify the hype. But what BigBear does have in its favor is the fact that the company sits right at the sweet spot in 2 of the hottest markets of 2025. AI and defense technology. This has seen the company draw several comparisons with Palantir Technologies. Even going back into 2024, there was a lot of articles comparing the 2 companies. So where we have Palantir still rising nearly every week and reach insane levels, then obviously you are going to have people looking for the next Palantir. And this is where BigBear AI comes into play. Because where Palantir has now reached a valuation of over $330 billion, BigBear AI is still valued at less than $2 billion. But BigBear AI has significant customer concentration. They generate a significant portion of revenue from a handful of clients, which are likely to be government departments, but in 2024, 52% of revenue came from just 4 customers. And although it is of course a risk to have such a high level of revenue coming from such a small number of clients, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If we remember back to Palantir just a few years ago, the majority of their revenue was coming from government contracts. But they have expanded this and diversified their income streams, and now a lot of revenue comes from the commercial clients. Furthermore, BigBear AI seems to be doing quite well with some of its clients. Last year, it was awarded a 5-year, $165 million contract to deploy the US Army's Global Force Information Management Objective Environment. This is a significant development as it generates an average of $33 million in revenue per year for BigBear. And considering its total revenue over the past 12 months was only $160 million, this contract is a huge boost for the company. But despite this, the company really needs to start growing its revenue much faster to justify an increasing stock price. In Q1, BigBear AI's revenue only rose 5% year over year to $34.8 million. However, its backlog grew 30% year over year to $385 million, indicating strength in capturing new contracts. But BigBear really needs to start recognizing some revenue from these contracts because 5% growth simply isn't good enough, especially when we see other companies deliver far higher levels. Again, here we have a Palantir comparison. Palantir saw 45% revenue growth to $373 million in Q1 for its US government-related businesses. Now, I'd argue that it's much more common to see higher percentage growth on lower revenue figures. So when you see Palantir having far higher growth on a far higher level of revenue, I just get the feeling that BigBear is really lagging behind. As it says here, if BigBear were delivering the same growth rate as Palantir with government clients, I'd be far more excited about the stock, but instead it's growing by 5%. So straight away here, I see an opportunity. The time to buy growth stocks is not after they've taken off. The time is when they are just beginning to grow, not afterwards. BigBear has this backlog in place, so assuming that they keep gaining contracts consistently, then all of this has to equate to higher revenue growth eventually. And even though the stock has been rising so much over the past year, it's not that expensive when we look at the price to sales ratio. BigBear has a price to sales ratio of around 10, which is at the low end of a typical 10 to 20 times sales range that software companies are usually valued at. Again, for example here, Palantir has rocketed up to a price to sales ratio of over 104. But again, Palantir is growing its revenues at a very fast rate, while BigBear is not. So that needs to change and change fast, but we do have an upcoming catalyst. As I said earlier, BigBear's earnings report is less than a month away now, so this gives the company a chance to show some impressive growth figures. But guys, what do you think? Can BigBear return to $10 again or even set a new 52-week high in the coming weeks? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and always do your own due diligence. Remember that I'm not a financial advisor, but if you enjoyed this analysis, then please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.